Welcome back to Powerhouse Gym Las Vegas. My name is Hidetada Yamagishi.
My name is Irish Kyle.
Today we are talking about our principle and a philosophy of training. We've been training obviously 30 years. How about you? I started competing when I was 20, so it's been 29 years.
How about me? I'm gonna say 16.
16 years? Okay.
16, 18 years. I started at 20. Always been athletic with outside sports, basketball, softball, cross country, but weights, 20. About 20.
You mean 20 years old?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely, 20.
Okay.
But I learned a lot.
So let me ask you, Iris, explain how you get into bodybuilding. You said you were quite athletic.
Yes.
Even before bodybuilding. Explain what sports you have done.
My journey started with basketball. That was my main love at the beginning of my athleticism. Then I did a little bit of other sports like volleyball, which I wasn't that great in, softball, which I was a hog, because I kind of manned the whole field from shortstop to pitcher to the outfield, so I was all over the place. And then I was trying to actually get All-American in 4 different sports. So I was very athletic and I loved it. So that's where I actually got the actually foundation of looking fit. And then tapping into the weightlifting came much later on in life when my family resided and moved to California. I got the bug of probably just going into the commercial gyms like Valley Total Fitness, 24 Hour Fitness, LA Fitness, and then some gentleman just approached me. He thought I had that look. He was right, because that look turned me into Miss Olympia. So I actually was training and working out, and he came up to me. It was about 8 weeks from a local show, and he just said, "You do bodybuilding?" I'm like, I really didn't know exactly what he was referring to, didn't have a clue. But to make a long story short, he said, "I have a show in 8 weeks, a local bodybuilding show, you should come out." So me and my friend just actually picked up all the magazines that we can think of and panned through it, picked out me a diet, followed that diet, followed a lot of the exercises, read, and I did my first show, and Lord knows I won, right? The rest is history. It's just loving the way the weights change your physique and make you look like a whole different person, and having that mind and muscle connection where you want to control what you're doing, and seeing the results like come right before you is really funny. It's very interesting. You know, if you're very disciplined. Of course, you guys, you have to realize diet makes a lot of what's taking place with your body. It's not just come into the gym and think you're going to change overnight because you're moving X amount of weight, doing an X amount of reps. The diet is pretty much 99.9%, so that's the discipline part that comes in. And that's a lot of my philosophy behind training. You have to be disciplined about eating every 3 hours and, you know, doing all the other additives that's part of being a champ.
Yeah. So when it comes to, people always ask us what the fastest or what the quickest or what the easiest way to get in shape, and we have to admit, because they are asking wrong question in the first place, because there's no quickest and easiest and fastest way. It takes time, like Ari says. It's all discipline and dedication and consistency. So these 3 key words. So these keywords doesn't associate to quick, easy, or fast, right? So it takes time. The first thing you gotta remember, it takes time. So that's why you don't see great physique on the street. You know, if you go to commercial gym, you rarely see anyone you can say, "Oh wow," no, right? So that's why it's difficult. You know, that's why it's worth it. So that's why people pay to go to see the show. So then how do we do it? So it's first you gotta start from somewhere. Then you have to just be in consistency. So go to the gym like, okay, let's say we pretty much train almost every day, like me 6 days a week, Iris probably 5 days a week, right? Even I'm coming back to compete, so I just increase my days for training. It was 5 days a week, now 6 days a week, because I'm competing. But Iris even think about going back to stage, but she still trains 5 days a week, because that's discipline part, right? Then other than that, outside of the gym, it is completely, this is like a discipline part, because in the gym, for us, it's a fun part. 1 hour or 2 hour, 3 hours, it's, moving weight training is something fun and something we love. But diet part, I don't know. Not many people love that part, but for us, we've been doing this 20 years, 30 years, so it's kind of like a lifestyle. So we've been blessed, being on the top stage like Olympia or Arnold Classic, but everyone has to do pretty much same, because the human body, the way they function, the way they build muscle, is same. Everyone is same. Even if you're a regular, ordinary, people or athlete, top athletes, mechanism is same. So the things you do to achieve great physique is all same. So you have to train, you have to eat right, and then you have to sleep. This the only thing you have to do, 3 things. So saying it is very easy, very simple, but do this like not like a week or month or even year. You have to do it 5 years, 10 years in a long span. I think, but it's not just bodybuilding. It's everything same, like a business, or if you want to achieve something great, something unusual, you have to have this keyword to follow, right? So what I do is last 30 years, pretty much, when I was 20 years old, when I started competing, I would never think I'm still doing the same thing at the age of 50. I never imagined that, but thinking back, it feels like really, really quick, because every day I try to do 100%, right? I try to do my best. So another question people often ask is, they feel like they are not getting result quick enough compared to other. So this is another wrong question, because you shouldn't be comparing yourself to other, because everyone is different. And to be honest with you, it's very unfair. Some people achieve great physical very relatively quicker than others. So it's like compare totally different things. It doesn't really make sense. So let's say some people, it's everything the same. So let's say when I was kids, I played baseball. Then every school you have like a couple like excellent baseball player. I could tell, even if I train like 100 more times than him, I wouldn't be like him, because you can kind of tell it's kind of like a gifted, right? Then if you go like also, okay, so that's like a first school. Then you go high school, more guys, like better guys there, and in the top professional level, you can imagine those people are like gifted, right? So you can't compare me and a professional baseball player. Same thing, you can't compare physique, me and this guy. So you should compare yourself. So you want to be better than yourself yesterday. So that's the mindset you have to have in order to achieve great physique. Meaning, great physique doesn't mean like a body, the Olympic competitor. Great physique meaning you better yourself than yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You accomplish your physique to the best of your ability and nothing more. And the comparison doesn't matter, because you have to take into accountability genetics. Mother and father plays a principle. Then blood type, I totally believe having a blood type O allows your body to race a lot faster than other blood types. And that's just my personal preference from studying and reading a lot of material. And then commitment, which everybody tend to have a different commitment and a different rule of thumb on how they feel that they should come into the gym and how much rest they need to have. Like me personally, I lived on 4 hours, and they're like, how could you grow with 4 hours and not 8 hours? It's just something that I was brought up with because of my other activities and other things that came into my plate when my mother was passing away. To make a long story short, I stayed in the hospital for just almost up to 80 days with her medical situation, and I was living off 4 hours, but I was still growing, I was still gaining the mass, I was still looking professionally great to be Miss Olympia. So it takes the mindset to develop exactly what you want, and like Hide said, making these comparisons, it's just going to throw you off and put you in a world spin where you're not satisfied. At the end of the day, it's all about being the best of you and not the best that's out there. Because we're not going to be judging ourselves. You're not going to be judging yourself on stage. It's going to be judges. So sometimes the best athlete don't win, and that may be you, but don't take it against yourself. Just always apply the best principles you can to further your activities and to improve your health and your general physique, right? And things will work out. Well, personally, for the length of time that we've been in the gym, we want it to not only be a work ethic situation, we want it to be fun. And having that to happen, we have to continue to not only trick our muscles, but find exercises that's going to still allow the growth, the definition, and us to have fun. So I'm always trying different things, and my principle to working out is always squeezing, controlling, and lifting weight as if you don't have a spotter there. So those are things that I look for when I'm training and also assisting clients to reach their fitness goals.
So my giant set, I started pretty late. So I've been training almost 30 years. When I was young and fresh, my joint was fresh. Of course, I was more training basic, heavy, and traditional style training. And as I get older, I don't want to say older, but I start getting injured. So then I think, okay, now can I keep training heavy like this intensity, and maybe I may get injured, like a serious injury someday. Fortunately, I never had injury in my career. I got like some accident, but my joint are always fine. Of course, I have wear and tear, but relatively fine, still fine. So I was fortunate to be smart enough to change my training style as I get older. Of course, as I get older, it wasn't a good idea to keep lifting heavy weight. So instead of weight, I switched to more different kind of training style to keep the intensity high without lifting heavy weight, meaning more superset, more tricep, more giant set, drop set. So utilizing all these technique to keep the intensity same or even higher to keep the growth going. So that way we create a giant set principle. So which is usually one body part, like pick somewhere 5 to 10 exercise, then do it without any less between exercise. So in order to do it, you have to have a proper environment. Like a gym need to have lots of variation, and you have to have some training partner to do it. So because if you just keep continuing all these exercises, so sometimes you lose control. You tend to lose form of control. So you want to have somebody assist you or push you through these exercises. So this is what we are doing right now. Then I think I can have a same or even better result than I used to, when I was younger.
Awesome. How would you say your personal experiences in the world of fitness shaped your approach when it comes to training others, so clients or training partners?
Well, I guess you have to relate it to the experience we went through. A trial and error, basically, just as if we were a beginner. We didn't have the uniqueness of how to use the equipment. Now that we do, we can pretty much help clients and explain to them why we're doing X amount of sets, X amount of reps, why are you having your body positioned in this way. So it's all about experience. It's going to always be the basic way to train. The trick is to make sure that the way that you're training is utilizing your body and your mechanics to make sure that you're doing it the proper way to get the results. So I think overall, and it's going to always be my way of training, is keeping the form the way it should be on each equipment that you use. There's a lot of unique equipment out there today, and the name two that we carry in our gym, which is UNOCK and also Evergear, they're phenomenal. And basically you can just sit down and the biomechanics and the uniqueness of them is going to pretty much do the work for you. So that's a plus for us, but others who don't have the opportunity to use this type of equipment, I think what you want to do is generalize, is read, learn for yourself, no matter if it's from the workout to the diet and to the supplementation. You got to do your homework to really understand why are you taking these two pieces of equipment or this type of food into your body, or even exercises. It's all about experience.
Yeah. So I train quite a lot of competitors now. So of course it helps in order to train bodybuilding competitors. I think you need to have some kind of experience, same experience, which means I don't think you have to, but you better compete in order to understand what my guy's thinking, right? So again, I've been competing this long, 30 years, and I don't even know how many shows I did, probably like 60 or 70. And each show is different. Then you have to have different approach, because body is supposed to be supposed not to be the same. Body is supposed to improve each show, meaning you have more muscle tissue. Like that's a goal. Each show you have to, you want to have more muscle tissue, less body fat. That's the goal. So your metabolism should be little different, right? So each show, even in the same season, you have to have kind of some adjustment to the client. And if you have 100 clients, obviously 100 different reaction, 100 different response. So each client, each show, each training session is my experience, and I'm blessed to have all these experience, like more than regular trainers out there, because I compete and I train both. Me and Iris both doing things, meaning we say like work, how you call it?
Work ethic.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah,
you have to do what you preach. Or
yes, practice what you preach.
Yeah, practice what you preach. So that's what we are doing. So, I don't want to say if you don't compete you cannot be a great coach. I don't say that, but it's probably easier. Probably you understand if you compete as a bodybuilder, you can easier understand how your athlete feels.
Yeah, so more of the relationship is more relatable.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Well, let's take what you said and kind of segue to this next question, which is, you mentioned how their bodies are unique. So how do you approach the needs of individual clients? How do you tailor to those needs, or what are the key elements you look for to help you?
Well, you might have two athletes, generally having the same, not same body fat, but really close, and one half, like the lower half, for instance, for women, tend to hold a little bit more fat and estrogen water. So what you try to do is you implement a program that is more of an overload principle, so you can interchange 3 or 4 different exercises with high repetitions to let them know, hey, now Lisa, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you do a lot more reps because this is what we're seeing in your physique today. And I'll take Mary Sue and tell her, hey, your lower half is rolling in the right direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to implement just your regular standard exercise that I've been having you on before, but you're going to rest a little bit less. So that's how you look at all your athletes, and no 2 athletes going to be on the same page. But you want to make them feel like they're progressing in the right direction, but some of them are going to tend to need a little bit more principles involved in their statics and their physique. Right?
So, like I said, it's more like a experience. Of course, if you have one client, you just started, it's kind of like a try and error. You try this one program and see what's going on in a few weeks, then adjust it. So you can't have this perfect diet or training right away. You have to see at least a couple months to see really understand your client. So each client you have to have certain period of time. Of course, there is a different situation if you happen to train like a top athlete. These guys are relatively very easy because they're genetic gifted. So sometimes your diet tweak training, they change a lot. So it's the higher athlete you train, I would say it will be very easy to see the change. But regular everyday people, it's not gonna be like that. You have to have some time to understand each one of their response.